Hello. Today I wanted to go through this book I have about William Blake, and specifically his pictures of the Divine Comedy by Dante. Now, William Blake was a writer and a painter from the 18th and 19th century in the UK, and these are his complete drawings for Dante's Divine Comedy. And I wanted to share them with you because some of the drawings are quite funny, actually. Some of them are quite frightening, and some of them are quite bad. And I quite like that some of them are quite bad. I don't know a huge amount about William Blake, but I do like the fact that a lot of his work actually wasn't very good. A lot of his poems have very bad scansion, so the rhythms and the rhymes can often be rather forced, not very natural, and overall quite a poor effort. But he was incredibly prolific, and I always admire that in artists. A lot of my favourite artists don't have a lot of natural talent, but they keep going anyway. And for some reason, I find that to be more impressive than artists who are just naturally brilliant, and it was almost a given that they were going to be an artist. You could probably tell with some people who are just geniuses, that they're going to, it's obvious what they're going to do with their lives. They're going to do something great in the field that they're great at. But people who go on to be great in the fields in which they're terrible, or just not very good, and certainly not as good as some of the best, but they go on to be successful in that field, that I find fascinating. And because a lot of my favourite artists and writers, poets, singers, are those types of people, I often find that the one bit of connecting tissue between them all is that they are all extremely prolific. So it's almost like a brute force method. They're really interested in this thing, whatever it might be, whether that's painting or writing. They're really interested in it. They know they're not very good, but it's almost like they have this approach of, if I just keep beating you over the head with my art, eventually maybe you'll like it. And I really like that. I think it says so much about the human spirit and this drive that we all have in us, even when it's illogical, can still come out. So these early drawings here are not so interesting. This is not this is not Blake. I don't know who that is, but it's clearly not Blake. I can't see where they credited on there, but I'll skip towards Blake. Here we go. These are William Blake's two famous collections of poetry were called The Songs of Innocence, and I believe the other one was called Songs of Experience. Really worth a read. Really very simple poems as well. Tiger, Tiger, Burning Bright. It's famous William Blake poem. I might just flick through ahead here. Here we go. Here's some of his early drawings and watercolour. Typically he used watercolour. I just like that he uses a very simple palette. went to an exhibition on William Blake not too long ago, and he made his own paint. He used these, I can't remember, I wish I'd written that down because it was fascinating. He had a strange concoction of chemicals and things that he mixed together, and it was his own paint. I'm not sure if that's in any of these, but that's what he ended up doing. It gave him a very kind of ruddy brown. Some more of his paintings here. They're almost childlike, I find. And I believe that a lot of the time Blake was writing just purely for pleasure. So much of this, perhaps not this project, perhaps not the Dante thing, but a lot of his paintings and a lot of his writing were never intended to have an audience. Now just look at these, a bit too dark in here to see this one, but they're strange because they're both, I think this is the sort of brown that I was talking about. They have, they both have this complexity, and but I'm not a critic of any kind, so I'll use all the wrong words here, but they seem both complex and simple, both mature and immature. This one makes me laugh. Look at that. His crazy eyes. In fact, I'm going to do something I didn't think I was going to do. If you stay there. And there you have it. Rather silly. I just did it in about half an hour or so. I just thought it was so wild, so out there, so unusual. I mean, these were being done before Dickens. These are very odd for their time. So anyway, I thought that you might enjoy seeing that. It was fun to paint, to draw. And there it is in the context of the larger painting. It's on his way to hell, perhaps. This is Homer bearing the sword and his companions. Again, very simple. Quite detailed in the face. He often got his anatomy wrong. The perspective would be off slightly. Or you could just say it's very stylized. It's not wrong. Not wrong. It's just the style he was going for. This makes me laugh as well because you've got all this detail here, and then you get the feeling like he had just sort of run out of steam here. Couldn't be bothered to finish it off with quite as much detail as he started with. I imagine he started on this side of the painting, and that, as it went on, he finished here, and thought, well, I'll come back to it, and then never did. A lot of these are unfinished. Whoa. Look at this fellow. Minos. It's in pencil, pen, and ink, and chalk, and watercolour. A little fellow down here as well. These two look quite shocked. But yes, it's a strange mix. It's almost like comic book style. Long before they existed, of course. Very unusual. Do a Google image search of William Blake's paintings, because he, I don't know if it was agreed that he started losing his mind, but he started having these visions later in life. He'd say he'd see people and things And so his friends would come over and ask him to draw the things that he was seeing. Some of them were monsters, basically. He saw this lizard man once. He said to a friend of his, I see him now before me. And he quickly jotted him down. It's a strange picture of a half man, half lizard, turning around slightly towards the viewer. It's strange, very strange. If I can find that image, I'll try and float it up on the screen now, because it's sort of impossible to describe. Again, not the type of thing you'd expect to see in the early 1800s. Some more here. These unfinished paintings. Actually, this one looks quite finished. I think it was just that section that looked... Seems like he just needed to finish it off there. This one you can't really see the detail, but again, it seems as if he never got time to finish it off. Wow, look at that. Oh, that's slightly frightening. There's a great one of a snake that looks incredibly silly, like a child's drawing of a snake. I wonder if I can find that before I end this video. I don't want to show the whole book because I don't want there to be, really this is a review of the book, I don't want there to be any copyright issues or for anyone to not go out and buy it because I've shown it all off, so perhaps that will do for now. Let me just see if I can find that picture. Probably not. Hey, there's just so much in here. So much. Well, I'll leave you with these fellows, I suppose. I also wanted to say how sorry I am that I've not been able to do as many videos lately. You all know how it is, life can just sometimes get in the way. Perhaps I'll talk about that some more in another video. It's nothing big or momentous or huge, just I have a kind of anxiety, I suppose, that comes and goes. Sometimes it's worse than others. These last few months have not been great. Now I'm starting to feel better, so I thought I'd put another video out there. But I do apologise that it means things have been a bit erratic. I know I don't have very many subscribers, but every subscriber I do have, or every comment I get is just so lovely and really, really helps me. So I hope this helps you in return to relax and feel better about yourselves, because really the comments are, they're just wonderful. I feel so undeserving of all the kindness that I have received on this channel, and it means an awful lot, so thank you very much. And I will see you in the next one.